Welcome back for episode 2 of this Might Mean Something podcast here with Kysa Gaming and Spawn 20. Today, our topic is going to be about being in the small content space. So let's just jump right into the conversation.
But yes, small content space. It's been something we've both been in for a little while now, isn't it?
Off and on, like really for me, I didn't really get consistent with it to the beginning of this year.
Okay.
Like it was very off and on. Like I would stream maybe like once every like once in a blue moon, really, for quite some time. Yeah. So how it all started was, I mean, I knew I did want to be a content creator. At first, it wasn't even streaming. Actually, back in the day when I was like a teenager, I really wanted to become a pro COD player.
Okay.
And then that led into me wanting to make YouTube videos because I seen that's what they did. I seen a lot of the pros at the time were making YouTube videos and everything like that. So that made me want, yeah. And then, it kind of just led into what it is now. You know, I knew it was always something I wanted to do, but never really dove into it just because I would let life make the choice for me rather than just saying, no, screw that, I'm chasing this.
Right. I feel like a lot of people started off as COD players. Like you listen to a lot of people who, you know, have a significant content creation space and they're like, oh, I used to play COD. COD is where it started. COD was the videos. And it's like, I guess it's a beginning.
Well, you know, COD was just a big part of video games growing up.
Fair.
You know, very rarely are you going to run into someone that goes, oh, I've never played a COD. Like I know there are people out there that have it. I'm not saying anything about, you know.
That would be me.
You've never played a COD?
I have never played COD. I played Halo as someone who just grew up with a bunch of guy friends.
Halo was a big thing. I played Halo back in the day too and everything like that. Yep.
My back in the day wasn't that far back for Halo though. My back in the day was like a couple of years ago, maybe 10 years ago.
See, I had the original Halo on the Xbox.
Nope.
Oh yeah, no, big time. So, but yeah, so like just seeing, you know, and then obviously, you know, you can say what you want about this, but then seeing like the phase videos, like the trick shotting and the quick stuff, like seeing that you could do stuff like that really interests me. So I always knew I wanted to be a content creator, but just never really got to it. And now just being in the small content space where I know we touched base on it in the first episode talking about becoming Twitch affiliated, which, you know, that I made some headway. Getting into the more YouTube side of things and actually, you know, making videos and stuff like that. That's a learning curve in itself.
Oh yeah.
So what made you want to become a content creator? What kind of like made you go, you know what, that's what I want to do?
Oh Lord. Well, you know, I used to watch a lot of Let's Plays when I was like home from school. My parents were either sleeping, taking a nap, or I was supposed to be doing homework, honestly. But I was never one for homework. I hated homework. So I would always turn on like a Let's Play and watch that instead and keep it like real small on the bottom of my screen. And I was always like, I would love to do that. I would love to take my love for video games and just entertain people. And I was probably in my like middle school time frame. I watched a lot of Nintendo players. Chugga Conroy was a big one for me. I watched a lot of like Proton John, just like really random Nintendo players. They were a lot smaller back then, obviously. And I was like, I would love to do that. But you look into it as a kid. I was never a technology person. I never had anyone who was a technology person. So I was like, it costs like hundreds of dollars to get the graphic or the capture card for like a DS, and I didn't understand you could do it on a computer. Like that to me just was not an option. I don't know why, but my brain just didn't say, oh, a computer can do it. You can play games on a computer and record it. That's just not a thing, I guess. But it makes sense for the content I was watching, I guess. I guess from there, God, was it that long later? I was in college and I started seeing a guy who did YouTube, and I was like, yo, that's something I want to like start doing and have fun with and just experiment with. And he was like, well, let's set you up a channel and we'll set you up a schedule, and I expect you to stick to the schedule. And yeah, it was horrible. It was really
Oh
bad.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like those videos are still on my channel. I have Sonic DX, I think it was called, as one of my first Let's Plays. They're terrible. They're absolutely awful. And they
Can't be
have
that
way too
bad.
many views, like
Well,
a
if they
couple
got views and
hundred.
they're probably not as bad as you think. Again, like you tell me all the time. I'm like, oh, this video is terrible. And you're like, it's not bad. There's just things you need to work on because obviously, first starting out, no one's gonna get it right out the gate.
Right. But like you said, editing is a steep learning curve. And I would go home from his house where I would record the videos, and then I would go home with my little laptop and be like on a trackpad and mouse, trying to
Yeah.
figure out how to edit in like or what was it, Windows Movie Maker? God, was that what I started with? Ugh. And the audio was bad because it was just on some cheapy little headset he had. And the first Let's Play I ever did was a 2 episode horror game about being on like an abandoned ship with some monster. And I don't do well with horror. Um,
No.
no, I hate horror games. I absolutely
Oh
despise
God,
horror games.
I would love to see that. That would be.
It's a thing, and it's still on there. And there's a couple horror games. I think I played Five Nights at Freddy's not long after that, and I love that franchise. I love that game, but I hate jump scares. I hate horror. So there's a lot of me. There's probably a lot of me screaming, probably more than I do now, which is hard to believe. But yeah, I guess I just
I can see it.
kept with it, and it just became something that I really wanted to do. I've always known I wanted to do it, but I never knew that I knew that I wanted to do it. If that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. So
Yeah.
here's something funny. The videos that you see on my channel now are not my first actual YouTube videos.
Really?
Yeah, I have deleted a couple of them
Why?
that I okay, so well, so like you said, I didn't have the capture card. I didn't have an Elgato or anything like that to capture stuff on my 360.
Right.
And the laptop I had at the time was not meant for anything other than, you know, laptop stuff. Like it was not meant to game at all.
Right.
So I had to jerry rig my setup, as in my intro video was literally me recording my screen through the camera on my laptop.
Oh my god.
It was terrible. It was
That
terrible.
sounds amazing.
I was like 15, 16 at the time and everything. I thought it was cool. I was sitting there trying to do like an introductory video and everything
Yep.
like that. It was so bad. It was
Yep.
really bad. Like you're sitting here having to like, yeah, it was terrible and everything. And then I did back on Black Ops 2, you were actually able to like make like clips and stuff like that on the game and
Okay.
upload them. I did that with a couple of but they're like 15-second clips. And at the time, this is long before shorts or anything out was like, was out like that. So it's like, what's even the point? Like it's just no. Like there's no me talking, there's no nothing. Just
Right.
the game. So I was like, yeah, no, those are bad. So I took those down a while ago. But yeah, those were technically my first videos. Now, if you want to go like my first actual videos, that's what's on the channel. Those are the ones I actually like recorded and like, somewhat edited and stuff like that.
Okay. That makes sense. Cause like
Yeah.
I don't know, it didn't feel like it was your first time making videos when I watched your guess the build on there.
That
But at
was
the
actually
same
my first time
time,
like actually making like a video. Like I said, the only other video I technically actually made it would have been the intro, and all I did was aim the camera at my screen. So all you see is me and my buddy Pat at the time in an Xbox party. And
okay.
it's just, hey, what's up? It's this is embarrassing, but it's AEG Kill Switch here coming to you live with my boy Patty, and he's just like, hey, what's up, guy? Like I had to play him through my TV.
AEG kill switch.
Yes.
Ooh.
So
Oh, that
That's
sounds
a
like an
whole
old
that
COD game or name.
yeah, y'all. We'll get into that when we get on to and we'll talk about that on another episode. But anyways, so that was technically the start, and then the Xbox One came out, and a lovely app that was called Mixer. I don't know if you ever heard of that company.
Yeah.
You might. So when Mixer first came out, it made streaming so easy for me
Mm-hmm.
because it was ran through the Xbox, so I could literally kick it on stream and everything like that. And it had this thing called the hype train. So when I first started streaming on Mixer, PUBG was big on the Xbox. Like
Okay.
it was like the new hot game. Because
Okay.
it was just different from what we were all used to playing. It wasn't like COD and stuff like that. So it was just different. So I used to stream PUBG a lot, and if you were close to a win, Mixer would bring in the hype bot, and I mean, you could go from having like 10 viewers, the hype bot would come in and bring in a bunch of different people to you. You could go from 10 to having like 400 to 500 people watching you in a second, watching your end game,
Oh my God.
and a lot of times that gains you followers. Like
Right.
I was up big on Mixer, really. Like I was actually making some good headway because of that, like because they had that. It was nice. It actually really helped out small time people grow their channels faster. Because like I can't tell you how many times they'd be like, we're down like the final 10, whether I be doing team like playing with like my buddies or playing by myself. Like it did it for PUBG and Blackout. And yeah, like you would gain like there was one time I gained like 30 followers just from one in game because the hype
Jesus.
bot because the hype bot would bring people in to watch, and if they see you do something cool or win the game, they're like, okay, well, I'm going to come back and watch this guy. So I
Right.
actually had a decent following on Mixer, but then something happened. They were bought out by Facebook Gaming, and Mixer was wiped off the map. So that is when I really stopped for a good while, because it's like, damn, I just made all that progress for no reason.
Yeah, that seems a little backwards for them to just go off the map. You think they would just at least turn into another company, which
No,
I
they
thought
did.
they did.
They did. Facebook bought them out, but
Oh.
Facebook basically destroyed Mixer. Like they just bought the company over. Like I lost my account and everything like that.
Oh, well, that's not right.
Yeah, no, it was a whole thing. So I was really discouraged because it's like, dang, I just made all that progress and now it's gone. I was actually having a good time. It was easy as ever to stream.
Right.
Like easy as ever. Like you literally like I mean I can do it on the Xbox now with Twitch. All you got to do is
Yeah.
like hit like the Xbox button, you go over a couple tabs, and you go down and go, oh, live streaming, and then all you got to do is make
Mm-hmm.
a title and go live.
Oh, that's how I started. That is how I started on Twitch. I would stream from my Xbox.
Yeah, well, that's how I started on Twitch as well. But again, I wasn't really seeing anything like on Twitch, like hardly any ever. Besides like
Right.
my friends going, oh yeah, I'll go follow you and everything, but no one was really watching. So again, I was very hit and miss for a long time. And then at the beginning of this year, well, end of last year, beginning of this year, Morgan will tell you, I got pretty down in the dumps and
Mm-hmm.
was just eating at myself and everything like that. And she thought I had to do something with her. It didn't. Anyways, I told myself I'm not going to forgive myself if I don't at least try to chase this one, like give it one really good chase. Like if I don't make one good attempt at this, I'm never going to let myself forget that and everything. Cause it's like, I'm constantly talking to Brandon, like, oh man, like, if you really want your dreams, you got to tell and everything. It's like, well, how can I tell him that and not do it myself?
Right. Yeah, that's kind of hypocritical at that point.
You know what I mean? It's like, man, it's like, so I stepped away and I really started tackling this thing. And like I said, I actually started seeing some headway on Twitch pretty quick, got to affiliated. I'm up to like 176 followers, which I know,
It's
for
a good
some is like,
amount.
oh, I mean, let's see, I started it in January. We're now in, June now, right?
Yeah.
No. Yeah,
First day
June
of
now.
June.
Yeah, first day. So we're now in June. So that's what, 5 months? And I went from like, oh God, I don't even know how many followers. It
We
wasn't
talking
much.
sub 50?
Yeah. To
Wow.
almost 200. I'm affiliated on Twitch. I'm now starting, I've been procrastinating YouTube for so long and I wish I haven't.
Right.
But now I'm starting getting the YouTube side of things and everything like that. So I'm starting to make some headway there. I mean, I still work, you know what I'm saying? Like I do the weekends with the girls, and then throughout the week I got my own like little, side things that I do for money.
Right. That's crazy though. That is a crazy amount of growth in 5-6 months. Like I've been at this for 8 years and I'm just about to reach 400 followers, but like you said, it has been on and off, but
Yeah, doing the whole
like
on and off
5 months
thing.
is crazy. It
Well, a
really
lot of it had to
does.
do, well, like I said, like we talked about, when you get around when you get around the right group of people, things could jump off. And Grumpy helped out a lot with me with helping me get affiliated, honestly.
Okay.
Like he's in other discords, and he's like, "Hey, this guy's live, go help him out. He's close to being affiliate, da, 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 this and that and the other."
Yeah.
Um so he did. So shout out to Grumps. He helped out big time with as well as some of the other fools, but like he kind of went that extra step. Like I said, he was reaching out to people that he knew and everything like that. So they would come on and help me get my viewership up. They come in and say what's up and chat with me and everything like that. And
Right.
so he did play an intricate part in getting affiliated, and then the rest just started kind of coming behind it. Like,
Yeah, that's really nice, honestly. Like
yeah.
it's hard to get those initial. You have to have three. What is it?
So you
Three
you
average
have to have
viewers.
you have to have 3 average viewers and at least 50 followers, and then you also have
Right.
to stream so many hours and days within a 30-day period.
But honestly, the hours and days were like so easy. I was hitting
So,
those almost every single month.
here's the funny part is the hours and days and the followers were nothing for me. It was what held
Same.
me back the most was the 3 average viewers.
Same here. I
Because
could not get those three average viewers no matter how many times I'm just
no,
like, I would like text
but
my friends and I'd be like, hey, just come. I don't care if you're actually watching, just sit
right.
there.
So Morgan helped out a lot with that. Anytime I streamed, she would turn it on. Her
Hmm.
cousins that graduated and everything this past weekend. Actually, one of them should be over either tonight or tomorrow. Because I told her I'd make her some pan-seared salmon because she loves it, and
Oh.
she hasn't really. Yeah, they don't eat fish over at their house. Anyways, she would always, even if she was at school, she would turn it on and like just kind of turn the volume down and stick me in like her fucking backpack or whatever.
Right.
uh like I said, Grumpy, would come in and tune in. Faith, like I said, the fool, confused, would take what time he could to come stop in on that feed. Feed watched a lot. She was there like every day, hanging out and everything
Hmm.
like that, trying to help out. Like I said, and then people that Grumpy reach out would come in, hang. Yeah, so it took it took a little bit of time to get it back up there because I'd had so many streams that were sub 3 that it
Yeah.
made the climb kind of go slow,
Right.
but we got it there.
Like even now I'm struggling to get three average viewers. Like I don't know how I got
It
affiliate ever. Like if
it
I'm just honest.
it's it's tough, like, because and another thing is I need to get back to being consistent because I even told Morgan, I was like, the biggest thing about content creation, you have to be consistent because if you're not consistent, then people are going to forget about you because you can't
Yes.
just go 1 week streaming almost, you do 4 or 5 streams 1 week and you put out a couple videos and then the next week you don't do anything at all.
Right.
You're gonna lose any traction that you had because people are gonna be like, well, like you went a whole week without anything. I'm over here watching this guy now, or
A
watching
hundred
her,
percent.
or watching them, whatever, watching this group, watching that, that's just one thing that I've, really that I need to get back on is just being more consistent.
Like the biggest time that I ever saw any sort of growth, and like this was insane for me. I used to be on an old Minecraft SMP with a bunch of friends, and it's actually like where I met Dale and everything like that. And when
Right.
I was on that SMP, I was streaming. I would say I was pretty much streaming nightly. If I was on the server, I was streaming 9 times out of 10. And
Uh-huh.
I didn't get a ton of traction, but like I got a couple people who actually came in and donated money. Like there was a month I made $800 on Twitch from donations.
Dang.
Yeah, no, it was insane. And like I was able to do a charity event. I raised like $300 for the charity event in one stream. Like I was actually able to do things with my channel and like get people in to watch and donate to a cause and everything like that. And I've never ever been able to hit those numbers again. No matter how consistent I am every week, I have 3 streams that I always do, and every once in a while sprinkle in a couple others when I can. But I have 3
Mhm.
main streams every week. Does not matter how consistent I am with those. The only time I ever saw like consistent every week growth was when I was streaming every single night for at least 3 hours. And
Mhm.
I would love to be able to get back to that, but it's just not realistic. Being
Yeah.
somebody who like lives on their own, has a partner, has to make sure that everything is supported. Like being able to stream every single night was the only time I saw consistency, and I would love to get back to it. It's just not a feasible right now thing. And I know that there's going to be people out there that says if you really really want it, you could find the time.
Yeah, but I
But
mean, you don't want to neglect, your other responsibilities, whether it's something,
right.
like you said, like with like your spouse and everything like that. You don't want to like take time away from that. Like that's
Exactly. I already take a lot of time away from that to do the content I do, and I love doing the content that I do. And even he even joins me on most of the content, as you know. Like we're streaming constantly
yeah,
together.
yeah,
But there's a point where you have to say, okay, I am able to dedicate this much time, and I'm 100% able to give as much time as I can during these hours. But then you have to put aside so many hours for IRL work. You have to go to an actual job. You have to make this thing called money. Then you have to put into your spouse because they require your attention. It's something that you need to keep up with and not neglect. Otherwise, things are going to go very bad for you. Even if they do play with you, you have to have alone time off screen.
oh
It's
yeah,
just it's a balance. And if you can balance it correctly, you can find a lot of growth, but I don't think I've found that sweet spot yet. And that's what's annoying me.
yeah. I'm still trying to find it as well because, like I said, doing the side hustle things through the week and
Right.
then streaming and trying to do this, that, and then I got the girls on the weekends. It's it's tough. We find the time, but it can be tough, especially right now with everything that we got going on. It's a little rough, but we make it work, you know. But yeah, like you said, I haven't found the sweet. We haven't found the sweet spot either. Like we tried. Something just seems to kind of hinder the plans.
Yeah. Oh, last time I was actually like super consistent. A wedding came up. My wedding. I had to pause everything because I was like, I cannot plan a wedding, get ready, make sure everything is suitable, handle my parents, handle his parents, handle him, handle my stress. And on top of all that, make content. I was putting out
Yeah.
videos every week, and it just had to dead end stop for the longest time. And believe me, it was totally worth it because I got to marry my best friend. But at the same time, I wish I was able to keep some consistency through that time because I didn't pick it up for 10 months after that. You got to
Mm.
be able to stay consistent. Once you find a
Yeah.
pattern, you got to keep it. And that's the hardest part, especially if you want to get out
Yeah.
of the small content space,
Oh
which is
yeah.
something I know we both want to do.
Absolutely.
So, how did you come up with your name? Like your actual name that you go by now, not your trigger blah 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 earlier, but your actual Spawn 20.
Okay. So this is actually a goofy story.
Good.
So for the longest time, my name was after the nonsense of the OAEG clan, Call of Duties, whatever. After I got away from that scene a little bit more, I went to Odd Spawn. The reason why that actually has something to do with COD too. Okay, so on Modern Warfare 2, I started getting into 1v1 sniping with my buddy with a buddy of mine, Shane, and everything like that. He got me into it, and he was getting me into this scene a little bit and everything. He was trying to help me out, like spawn traps and all that. Blah 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 blah. Well,
Okay.
there are certain ones that you hit where if you're just out of position, you could send them to one of the spawns that's not linked to the spawn trap, and it's like, oh man, you caught an odd spawn. Well, for some reason, whatever it was about me or whatever, I would always odd spawn out of the spawn trap, so no one could really, sit there and just kind of like put me in the dirt.
Okay.
And so that's how the name Odd Spawn came to be. And then I went from Odd Spawn to Calm Down Odd back to Odd Spawn. And this is the goofy part, really.
Okay.
At one point, I felt like I noticed kind of me changing and everything like that. Like just overall, like not even just in my gameplay or anything like that. So I was like, man, I've had a rebirth, Spawn 2.0, as in like Spawn 2.0.
Oh,
So that's how Spawn 2.0 came to be.
gotcha. That's an interesting little backstory. You went
It
through a
it
lot of
like
iterations of your name.
oh yeah, no, like it was funny. Like all my buddies had a joke. Okay, how long until he changes his name again?
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, it was all over the place because it started off as DD Ospawn. That's when I was doing the one because that was like the little group clan I was with was DD. So it was DD
Right.
Ospawn, and then it went to just straight up Odd Spawn because I was like, screw it, I'm not with them anymore. Let's just take that part out. And then it went to Calm Down Odd, back to Odd Spawn, and then yeah, no, then it came back to then yeah, it was just Spawn 2.0, and it's been that way for oh god, quite some time now actually.
Okay. So has everyone always called you Spawn when they're referring to you by your username, or did
So
people used to call you Odd?
so some of them still to this day still call me Odd Spawn because that's just what they were used to.
Okay.
Like like my buddy Omega that I still play Warzone here and there with, and I still talk to him. He lives in, he just lives in Ohio. Like we've actually become good friends outside the game
Okay.
and everything like that. So he still calls me Odd Spawn, no matter
Okay.
what. He always just says Odd Spawn, or most people do say Spawn.
Okay.
Um, it Now back when I first joined Foolish Craft, they always called me Zero.
Really?
Yeah, they actually called me Zero in the beginning.
Huh. I would never have called
Yeah.
you Zero. I don't know why. It's just like
Well,
not the instinct.
I think it was more along the lines that if they don't want to say Spawn and have someone think they're talking about Spawn.
I could see that.
So I think that's what it more was. So that's why, like, when we did the merger, you say, "Oh, most people call me Spawn or Zero." That way, things don't get confusing because I'll respond to both because I already know who you're talking to if you say Zero
Fair.
and everything like that. So that's actually funny because then that's how I started calling my bases Ground Zero.
I've never heard you refer to your bases that way, but I
Well,
can see
I
it.
don't do it. That hasn't been for a long time. I
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was before even last season before we did the murder. But so yeah, that's how Spawn 2.0 came to be. Um,
Gotcha.
there were a couple other names that I'm not gonna. You know what? Screw it, I could throw it in there. There's one that I skipped before I went back to Odd Spawn.
Okay.
It was Majestic Alki.
Majestic Alki?
So me and my buddies started to get back into the COD scene again, as in
Of
competing and
course.
everything. We came up with Team Majestic,
Mm-hmm.
and I went with Alki. There's a reason behind that.
Okay. Do say.
I that was the time where I was living in the bottle.
Ah.
That's as far as I'll go into that. But yeah, so it was only fitting. And at first I thought it was a joke and everything, da 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 da, and then this, that, and the other, and then we all stopped playing together, so I went back to Ospawn. Yeah. Anyways,
So the name was more of a joke than anything.
it was a relatable joke.
Right. Yeah, because like I've seen your name and I'm always like, why is it the number 2 0? Like
It was
it
basically
was
like a rebirth.
that makes
Yeah.
sense. That makes a
Yeah, it
lot
was like
more sense.
it was like a rebirth moment, and that's when I was still, living my life a certain way, but like my mentality and everything like that was starting to change and, kind of
Gotcha.
take a turn for the better. So I was like, okay, it's like a rebirth phase. Da 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 da. We'll just go with Spawn 2.0.
Man, you make my name sound so boring now because I've had it since I started everything. Like I've never changed my username. Before I had this name, I cannot remember a time I was called anything. Like I can't think of a username I had since like before, like even before I started my channels and everything.
Well, that doesn't make it boring.
But it is. Like
Well, no, because that just shows that like,
what was I
how do I
before? I don't even remember what a username I would have used was before.
wait,
Okay,
here's
no,
the thing
that's a
though, is that
lie. That's a lie. Go ahead.
what? No, you got to tell it now.
Oh, so okay. So the only real games I played that required some sort of name tag username above your head was like RuneScape. I played a crap ton of RuneScape when I was a kid.
Oh god, I don't even remember what my name was on RuneScape back in the day. Good lord.
So I had a friend who got me into RuneScape as a, oh god, I think we were like 10. I played soccer with him, and he and his brother and I became really close for a long time. And
Hmm.
he was playing RuneScape, and his name was Kite, Kite, 32 Blade 7 or something stupid like that. And he was like, well, let's make you an account and get you set up on it and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, cool, this seems like a really fun game. I love to play it with you. So let's get me an account. And, being a 10-year-old, I couldn't think of anything better. So I was just like, Kite 1, Blade 2, done. And then I made an alternate account, Kite 2, Blade 1, done. It was just like, I didn't understand that it was going to be something that people could see above my head and refer to me
Uh-huh.
as. So everyone called me Kite. And I was just like, okay, it goes. I'm fine with that. No one, I didn't care. And there was another one I had, and I work with this account fairly often, and I cannot remember the username for the life of me right now. Yeah, I can't remember it, but since like 2016, when I was seeing this guy, I was like, I can't think of a username, and I was thinking I was just gonna have to go with something with Kite or something like that because that's what everyone called me online. And he
Right.
was like, well, let's take the first two letters of your first name, KY, and we'll choose two random letters of your last name, your maiden last name. And they chose
Right.
SA, and they came up with Kysa. And so I just slapped gaming on the back because otherwise, just the name Kysa was not long enough, not enough characters. It was taken, blah, blah, blah. So Kysa Gaming. And even today, when that name is taken, because every once in a blue moon, that name will be taken for whatever reason, you just slap an I at the end, KYSAI, and you're good to go. That's it. That's the story. There's not much more.
I
I
mean,
haven't switched
there's,
users.
but well, that's the thing though, is that like while you might not have like the you know 20, 30 name changes like I do, but your name holds a lot of weight because that's what you've been gaming on for so long.
Mm-hmm. And when it's taken, I'm really mad because I'm
Also,
like,
there
who's the
there,
imposter?
there's one more name,
Oh Lord.
but it was only on Minecraft. I didn't change it anywhere else.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw the old logo I was using before.
It's not the one
The
you have on
whole
Discord still, right?
no, so no. There was one I was using before that. I think I changed it before. I think I changed it uh
Before the Great
before
Merge.
before like before even that got talked about. So there was one because I was actually rebranding because
Okay.
it was a name I had on COD that was actually funny because of what we used to say with it. It was
Back to
funny, that
COD.
I'm telling you, COD makes me change my name apparently.
Apparently.
It was on your knees.
On your knees.
On your knees, like ONYA space KNEEZE. I did it on COD for Warzone streams that I used to do with my buddies Monday and Tuesdays.
That
It
is
was
the
funny.
most
It was funny
cringy.
because no, it was funny because that's what I would always say to people before I'd actually kill them. Like I'm like, oh, you ready to get on your knees, and then whatever, and then I down them and all that and everything. I talk my
That is
smack to
the
people.
most cringy
So
10-year-old playing COD
no,
BS
it's
I've
not
ever
that bad.
heard. Yeah, it
That's
is.
not
That is exact.
no, it ain't. There are so much worse out there. Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Let me hop on COD and I'll send you some screenshots of the names that are out there.
Oh
It's not
Lord.
that
No,
bad.
no, no. I'm good.
Oh no, too bad. It's happening now. It's gonna
I used
anyways.
to play Fortnite
So
a lot with Mike.
I
I understand.
so I did that on don't talk about Fortnite. We're no,
Oh,
don't
come
get me started.
on. It's not that
No. Anyways,
bad.
it's horrible. Anyways,
It's not that bad.
so I did it. I changed it over on the server and everything like that. I tried to do like a rebroadcasting. That really did not go well for me. Like as just because, yeah, it didn't work out. Like the name was funny, the joke behind it was funny, but as far as like trying to create content with that name, it was definitely stunning the growth because no
Yeah.
parent is gonna want their 8, 9-year-old kid watching some dude by the name of On Your Knees.
Yeah, it's almost as bad as having D's nuts in your title or
Yeah, just
yeah, like it's just
it was
cringe.
that. Now, if I was gonna do like purely 18 plus, like I could have gotten away with it, but at the same time, like if you do purely 18 plus, you're
Stunting your growth already.
well, yeah, you're hindering any like progress you're gonna make because you're cutting out a lot of audience, really.
Man, I'm sitting here trying to imagine the intro with the name of On Your Knees, and it's not going over well. I'm imagining a 10-year-old kid. I don't know why. It's just that's what is bringing to
See, that's
mind
the
when
thing.
that name comes up.
Yeah, it was funny.
And that kid's playing
If you
Fortnite.
if you no no
Yes, it is.
no
Yeah,
no
yeah,
no. Anyways,
yeah.
enough about trash Fortnite. I'm done.
Oh, please.
It's trash.
Says the man who's been simping over COD over here.
It's not even sipping. I just play COD. It's what I grew up with.
No, COD's not bad. COD's not bad. I've never played it, but I've watched people play it. It's not bad.
I don't know. I don't really hate on Fortnite that much. Like if you play it, you play it.
I
My thing
play
is
it with friends, and
it's not for me. Like I've
that's
tried playing
fair.
it with my friends. I've given it chances over the years. It's just not for me. It's just not my like if I want to play a battle royale, like I like PUBG, Warzone. I played a little bit of Apex. All right, this we're not getting into video games. This is not the topic for today.
No, that will definitely be another. That will be definitely be another
That
topic.
that's
But
that's gonna have to come soon because that one I feel like I feel like we could do a two-parter with that one.
a video game, like a love
Oh
note
my
to video games. Oh my
oh
god,
my
yes.
god, yeah, I feel like we could easily do a two-parter
I could do
anyways.
3 parts on Pokemon alone. End sentence. Like
God, I'm
we
telling
also
you,
need to talk about our competitive scene because you're talking about competitive COD. I played a lot
oh,
of competitive games. Like I'm talking like
um,
actually traveled for competitive
yeah,
tournaments. Yeah.
mhm,
So I
yeah, I've
definitely
done
want to
LAN
hear about
tournaments.
that.
Yeah, I've done LAN tournaments. Um,
I do not. I do, and
um,
I don't miss those days. Anyway, but yes,
but
um, small term or small form content. Not even small form, but just small content creator space, both on Twitch and YouTube. It's really hard to get out of. It's really hard to grow past, which is I feel something that like those platforms could work towards helping smaller creators. They seem to focus a lot on the big creators, and
well, I
it's
think the
kind of
reason why
annoying.
is because once you break that barrier, it no, I feel like the climb up is hard, but once you get to once you break through that wall, it just all starts just falling into place.
Yeah, but like figuring out how to break the wall. That I'm not saying it needs to be super accessible. Obviously, you need to show that you can put work in, and obviously, you need to show that you have dedication. And I'm not saying that needs to change, but I wish it was like I wish the guidelines to be found on YouTube were a little bit more straightforward. I wish that things were a little bit more exposed, I guess. That way the people who do want to put in the work knows what work to put in. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because it does get discouraging a little bit sometimes. Like I'm sure you've had those moments where you finish a stream and you end it and you look at your stats and you're like, "Man, I had one viewer and I'm pretty sure it was me." Like the whole time. And that can be a little discouraging. I don't get me wrong. You have to push past that, especially if it's something that you want. And it just gets discouraging for a lot of people. And even the people who really want it, I'm sure like they feel like I do, where sometimes you feel like, why am I still doing this?
Yeah, no, there's a lot of moments like that, honestly. You stream one day and you could see, upwards, for us at least, small timers, like, you see 6 or 7, you're like, okay, yeah, that's a pretty good stream. Cool, cool, cool. Maybe yeah, somebody will start sharing it to their friends and maybe, bring it in. And then the next day you go from that to just one.
Yep.
And it's like, and then or you have one good stream, like we'll say 10 or 11, and then like the next 5 streams you get like one, maybe 2, and it's just like why? Like what's even the point? Like there's so many times that I have asked myself, why continue this?
Yeah, same. Like I've had a couple moments where I've been rated by a good sized group of people. Like I'm talking over 100 people at one time. And the most discouraging thing is looking over and seeing that plus 100 people, and 5 minutes later looking back, even after you think you've done some really great content and you've made some really like funny moments out of it, and you're putting
Yeah.
your markers down to clip things, and see those single digits again, which has happened to me more than once. And I start to think, am I having a technical issue? Is my microphone not working? There's no one chatting, which is fine. I don't care
Yep.
if people talk, but where am I missing the mark? What is happening to where I need to improve? What is the part that I can improve to keep half of that 100, even a quarter of that 100 people that just came in? Where am I not entertaining
Absolutely.
enough?
Yeah, no, I always try to think to myself, okay, if I was watching me, what would I want to see done?
Right.
So yeah, it's definitely hard and everything like that. But yeah, no, I would always just ask myself, what would, if I was a viewer, what would be entertaining? What would make me want to lock in and keep watching the stream? What would make me want to interact? What would make me want to come back? So I've always tried to do it, but sometimes it's kind of hard because obviously, you have a game plan for what you want to do on said game that day.
Right.
Whether it be, like Minecraft, like, oh, today I want to work on digging out, the storage area, or I want to go hunt down a bunch of materials for this project. Or if you're playing another game like COD, it's like, oh, I want a camo grind, but it's not going so well. There's just a lot of intangibles that you can't control. So it's really kind of out of your hands. But I mean, I just always try to make it entertaining as possible. But a lot of
Yeah.
times you'll see me getting kind of like, I'll start like, screwing around singing, coming up with dumb like little songs as I'm going on, just something to
Mm-hmm.
try and something that I can find any way to stay engaged to where it's not just me quietly playing and you just like mindlessly watching.
But you know what the most
You know,
screwed
I
up part is? There have been moments where I will be quiet for 5 minutes or whatever, just like locked in, focused on something, even if it's just like on Minecraft, flying to the next point of interest of wherever we're going. And I have more viewers during that time who stick around during that time than I do when I'm talking. And there have been moments like Played Up is a great example. We were all super locked in the other night when we were playing. I look over and I have several viewers on YouTube. We get
oh
to
yeah.
the planning phase where we're moving our stuff around and we're talking and we're laughing and joking around, and
Yeah.
everyone left, and I was like, okay, the people want locked in quiet gaming content. That's what I'm getting from this. Or it's my voice, I don't know, maybe it's my voice. If that's the case, no one's watching this podcast.
But yeah, no, yeah, that I know what you mean though. Like those locked in moments can be entertaining without having anything being said.
Right.
I'm trying like there'd be times like back like on the PUBG days when I was streaming on it. I can't tell you how many times like me and my buddies would go dead silent in the middle of a gunfight.
Yep.
Like we're all just like focused in trying to find like this dude and everything, and then as soon as we kill him, it's like we're all just like starting to crack up, get loud, be crazy, be weird and everything like that. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, you don't have to be on point with constantly like being crazy. Obviously, gameplay itself is entertaining. It's
Obviously.
just, I guess it just depends on what game and what's going on in the game at the time.
I don't know. There's a balance in there somewhere, and to get past the small creator phase, I think we just have to find that balance. We're building a really good group of people, like we've said a million times to each other, but I want to figure out what makes people come when it's just me playing the game. When, like, not saying you guys aren't cool to have around and all, but I also need to figure out my own path and figure out, like, what makes people come to watch my YouTube videos, which are typically mostly solo videos. Like, it's just me talking, or like me and maybe one other person on the Foolish Craft server talking and joking around.
Yeah. Right.
What's going to make people want to watch that over me with you and Mike and Morgan and Dale and
That's
Andrew
whatever.
playing
Whatever. You don't want us around.
whatever?
I get it. Yeah, that's cool. Fun.
Wow. Wow, not
Wow.
what
Wow.
I
Wow.
purposely said. It's not that I don't want you guys
Nope.
around, but it's fine.
Nope.
You're just not listening
You're lying to
again.
me. Nope. Yep. You're just lying to me now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
All
fine.
right.
It's fine.
Yeah, I get what you mean. You definitely need your own following rather than just people coming in for the group. I get it.
Right. Because then what's stopping them from going and
Well,
following everybody else but me? You know, like, not saying they
so
shouldn't. They
you
should go and follow everybody.
uh-huh.
But
Uh-huh.
if they're not there for me, they're not going to watch my stream. They're going to go and watch
Right.
your stream and Mike's
Well,
stream, and that's
well,
great. But I also want
that's
to
the
make my
beautiful
own
part about
following.
like, yeah, no, I definitely know what you mean. That's why there's some things that I want to do on my own. Like basically once like I like because I know Mike's helped me out with the storage unit, but once that happens, there's gonna be times where I'm probably gonna tell y'all to stay away from me, just so that way I can do certain projects by myself and have my own space to do it.
Yeah, 100%. You
Because
think there's times
if
that I'm on there recording by myself and you're not there? Yes, there's 100 times. There's a million times that's happened.
how dare you?
Yeah, shut up. You're barely in my videos as it is because I haven't gotten to the parts where you're there.
Yeah. But no, like I definitely know what you mean. You obviously want your own following, not on top of everything else.
Exactly.
I get it. That was actually another thing that was kind of like messing me up a little bit. Because there are certain people that like to be nosy. Whatever. I'm nosy too. I can't even say that. Everyone likes to be a little bit nosy.
Fair.
But there were times like, yo, I'm trying to record something, you know, da da da, and then they would just come over and sit and stare, and it's like, bro,
Yeah.
homie, like Faithy, like when I was trying to do the store, it's like I didn't want anyone in the store until I finished it, and she's just sitting there creepily.
I
I
mean, to
guess.
be fair, I did that too.
Well, yeah, you did. You
I
both
snuck
did, and
behind a
you also.
pillar to purposefully get out of your shot, though. I landed, saw you were still recording, and just like,
Well,
I'm just going to
sadly,
inch over
you
here.
poked. Yeah, sadly, you poked out though, and that's why I was like, I see you creeping.
Yeah, I tried
But
not to.
Um, but no, like everyone's done it. Like I said, I'm sure I've done it to Faithy. I'm sure I've done it to whatever whoever else and everything like that. So I mean, it happens and everything like that. That's why I was like, maybe this time I'm just going to be like, hey, I'm doing this. Please don't come over right this minute. I'll let you know when it's okay.
That's what that status mod is for that we have, and
So
I don't think people watch
pay
it.
attention to that. Yeah,
Okay, we're
I
on
don't
the
think
same
people
page with that.
I don't think people pay attention at all because there's been a couple times where I'm streaming and people are just letting certain things fly out. And I'm like, hey, no, I'm live. Like, oh, I didn't know. I'm like, what's the point of having the status thing?
Right, like I check it for most people. Like I will
I
look at it, but if
so
it's like
if
you or Bo, fuck it, I'm gonna just go. Sorry, screw it. I'm just gonna go and like bother you, because it's you guys.
yeah
I know you guys aren't gonna mind
yeah
most of the time.
so like anytime that I see if you're on, if I feel like there's gonna be something that I need to do solo and not have anyone around me, I'll say something.
Yeah,
I
I
haven't
know.
had it. I haven't had any of those things. Well, except for me digging out the shop. That was one moment, but also I didn't say anything, so I can't really be mad.
Yeah, I was about to say you didn't say anything to either of us, and I
It
was like,
was it, it was
eh,
more of just like I
I
was just
brought
trying to
you
hurry up and get it
materials.
done. Yeah, it was more of I was just trying to like get it done and over with because like I've been putting it off, so it's like okay, I really need to get this going.
I feel that.
So I just wasn't really thinking about saying anything at the time, and well, it doesn't matter because the recording got messed up.
Welcome to content creation.
Well, that was one of the time lapse clips that got jacked up because I don't know
Yep.
how to work the flashback mod. But
Yep.
whatever.
Welcome to content creation. Things are gonna go
But yeah,
wrong. You're gonna
well,
lose audio, and you just
because
gotta
I
keep
even
going.
well I don't think she ever watches my. I don't honestly. I'm not sure who all watches my videos. Honestly, probably none of
I do.
them. Because hang on, I'm gonna go look real quick. Like this will tell me everything. No, I was just gonna say like I told her that she was gonna have a feature in it, but because the clip got messed up, now her feature's gone.
Oh, really? So has she
Yeah, well, because I
commented on your video or anything?
no, I gotten 2 likes, which I'm assuming that's probably you and Mike.
I don't know if Mike actually likes videos. He never likes mine. He
Oh,
never watches mine though. So,
okay. Well, I have 2 likes. Hang on, let me see. It's got 9 views. I've gained a subscriber. Hey,
hey,
we're up to 12 now.
hey, that's not bad for
So
having what 3 videos.
yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's
So
4
okay.
subscribers per video.
So yeah, being in the small content space, it's a very uphill battle. It has a lot of
Yes.
challengings, a lot of discouraging moments. But again, I feel like once you break that barrier of, like just break that growth barrier and everything like that, I feel like everything starts coming into place because then obviously you now start gaining your audience. And
Right.
they're obviously gonna want to, like, hey, do you see this? Have you seen this? Like, do you watch this person? Oh, what did yeah, I feel like once you just break that barrier, it becomes a lot because I've seen people, like I've seen small time creators, blow up because one viral clip of them has just sent them. So it's like once you just once you just get that one moment and everything like that, I think it's not gonna be easy, but I think it things become a little more simple. You're not
Yeah.
trying as hard, or you're not like trying to force. And that's another thing. I feel like being a small time content creator, I found myself trying to force content rather than let it come naturally.
Yeah, I can see that. I can
Um,
I can see where you would get in that situation, and I know I've been there too. Like I
well,
can't
it's because like,
think of the content specifically, but I know if I watch back, I could be like, that was totally forced.
oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like some content has been forced because it's like, okay, it has to be this way, otherwise it's not gonna be good. And it's just like, and then I feel like that's just actually bad content because it's not natural. The natural stuff is the best. Because
Agreed.
then you get general reaction and everything like that. That stuff's bad. But when it's forced, you can tell when things are forced. You can just tell.
I also feel like it's more rewarding when you're at this size that we're at because it's like you you
Oh,
you hit a
every little
thousand
bit.
subscribers and a
Yeah.
100 views is suddenly nothing. You're at the size we're at where we have a couple hundred. 100 views is like, whoa. My
It,
video hit 87 views. Like that's a lot of views. So I feel like it's more, and like you just had that moment where you looked and you gained a subscriber. You're up to 12. That's a big moment. If you're up to 1,012, it's a big moment, but it's not as
right.
big as 1,000.
like
Suddenly you're getting trumped by other numbers.
like my guess the build, that thing has 46 views. It's like, okay, cool. I have a video with triple digit views.
Yeah,
Well, not almost, about halfway. But either way, it's still though. It's like, okay, cool, whatever. That's what's
right.
up. My first episode's got 16 views. Cool. Now, here's the problem though. The inconsistency, I think, what we were talking about is really hurting because the guest that build was 2 months ago. The Foolish Crap
Mm,
episode 1 was 4 weeks ago. So taking 4 weeks in between each video, I think that's what I'm saying. I think that's it. Now, see, I'm not saying you got to put out 2, 3 videos in 1 week, but at least a video. I feel like video once a week is acceptable.
I agree. And like even when
So
I was making shorts every single day, there would be a day where I would get 8 views, and then the next day I would get 1,700 views, and I'm like,
it takes that one clip. That's what I'm saying. It takes one good clip to,
"Yep,
like, if it's a good clip, it gets a lot of views.
mm-hmm,
And that helps a lot with growth.
it does."
Um I know nowadays TikTok is like the thing.
Eh,
So it is,
I
whatever. I mean, I
know.
can't lie. I scroll around on TikTok and
Oh
everything like that
yeah,
because there are creators on TikTok that I actually personally enjoy.
same. I scroll
So
TikTok.
I have thought about jumping into that a little more and everything like that. Maybe putting out like some of like honestly, the dirty plate clip, I think that would be hilarious on TikTok.
I agree. I think it needs to be framed a little bit more, but other than that, like I think the
No, it
content
does.
is there.
I was just I was just sending it to you so you could see it. Now it was hilarious. So like that anyone that I've shown, so I showed Morgan, her sister, their brother, and our couple friends that came over for dinner last night. It like they all were laughing at it because it was just funny.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I need a pasta, dirty plate, and you like it was great.
Yeah, like those kind of clips are funny. And I have posted on TikTok those kind of clips before, but I found TikTok really likes the bland clips. I don't know what it is, but they like the bland clips. And it doesn't make any sorts of sense. But regardless, like I said, this kind of size that we're at in this space that we're in, we need to cherish while we're in it.
I was like,
it's a good time. Like, it also allows you to meet people that are genuine.
Yeah. Yeah, it allows you to meet people that are genuine, not people that are going to just try to feed off your success.
Exactly.
But also, just this is all just build up to the big thing, and so that way it gives you something to look back on. It's like, man, I can remember when this was happening, and I was here and doing that, and it creates a lot of core memories.
Yeah.
Growing until
Yeah, and now we have this podcast to look back on too.
Yeah, like, man, can you remember episode 1, breaking the ice? Man,
breaking the ice, man, good times.
Which, if you haven't listened to episode 1, go do it.
Definitely, it was like I said, good times. It's this whole podcast, I think, is going to be a very interesting look back on where we start, and hopefully as we grow, we can keep looking back on things that we've done together and separate and everything. And like, it's going to be a good timeline for us, especially since we're starting while we're in this small space. Like,
absolutely.
It's going to be a time capsule. And I think that's going to be very interesting to watch.
Yeah. I feel like we're just creating another avenue. So it's kind of like a step away from everything else. So I think that's also going to kind of keep things fresh.
But there's windows. There's windows to look into the other avenues. Good times.
But on that note, I think we're going to wrap it up for this episode 2. Is there any last things you want to say?
No. I thought I had something and then it walked away.
That's fine. We can pick it up on episode 3.
Sounds good.
All right. We will catch you next time. Thank you for tuning in to the podcast. And remember, this might mean something.
Bye.